Previously on the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolved.
This whole experience taught me a very great but painful lesson. Never trust anybody. You all garbage people. I hope you all burn in hell.
Right, all right, get out of here now.
And now back to
Licking at people.
Hello! This is NicoB, back with some more of the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. We last left off, we completed the insane case 3, and oh my god, dude, that case was incredible. It was so good. So good. So many twisted turns, and you guys did also tell me, so apparently a lot of people struggle with that final contradiction, pointing out the blood spatter. And yeah, I was like, when they explained the answer to me, I was like, oh, I'm not shocked at all I didn't get this. This is insane. I mean, it was all within reason, but it was like, damn, dude. I honestly lucked out when I picked it. I thought, I was like, oh, well, like we literally had the scene, the picture of the dead body, and then talking about the guy. So I honestly just kind of tossed that shit out there thinking, and I was like, okay, well, maybe it has to do with the cage door or something, but not quite. I still, even after throwing it out there, I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know why this worked. That's some quintessential Phoenix shit, right? I'm just gonna throw something out there and hope it works. Fortunately, Naruhodo isn't like that though. He isn't like me or Phoenix. He actually knew the answer, which I am very happy about. I always hated that fucking facet of the original Ace Attorney games, or at least I hated that they continued to fall back on it as the series went on. But goddamn, dude, that case was incredible. It really did feel like a final case, especially with all the insane revelations. But there is quite a few things that we haven't really gleaned yet, right? Like, for example, why did Scythe feel the need to cover this up? Why was this a mistake that was made to begin with, right? We're seemingly, what we're piecing together here is, right, that this guy was not actually executed at this time and then was sent to be buried, at which point he was buried alive. He then rose from the grave, and where Drebber came across him, and then was subsequently shot by somebody who we don't know yet. And that's when he died. So he actually did eventually die. I think it's pretty clear he's not like, he's actually returned and he's like up and about and doing stuff. No, he's seemingly dead at this point because Madame Two Spells actually went over and, examined his body. Rigor mortis had not kicked in yet. Pretty sure he was, when he got shot, I think he did die after that. But just leaves us with many questions like, why? Why would she do this? Who shot him? What is the circumstances? I don't know. We still don't know. But we have learned that this professor is in fact Asogi's father. And I guess that's the reason why he's returned to this country, to try to fix this legal system, because I guess clearly it allowed his father to be out and about and murdering people. Yeah, we got just a ton of questions after that case. I am glad that it wasn't like the final case of another game, which, by the way, you guys also did clarify. So I originally said that, based on something a few others had said, that this was originally planned to be the final case of a second game, and then they were gonna have a third game. That's actually not true. Apparently, the creator of this series said that this series was always intended to be 10 cases. I think he said he initially was planning it to actually be one game, but they ended up splitting into two. Though I will say, it does sound a little weird just to imagine like a Phoenix Strike game or an Ace Attorney game having 10 cases. That'd be an insanely long game. I think that'd honestly be way too long for a single game. These are already beefy enough, right? But that does make me a bit happier, honestly, hearing that it was always intended to be this number of cases, because the problem is, if it was like I had to pull back because we didn't either have the budget or the time, then that makes you feel like, well, I'm playing a lesser version of than what I was going to get. You can't help but feel that way. So I am kind of glad that this was like always the plan anyway, which means that he wasn't going to ever try to drag out Asogi's identity behind that mask. Like that whole thing, we got introduced to him this start of this case, and we got our inklings about him and then revealed who he was at the end. And I'm so thrilled. But anyway, last episode, Mr. March said, imagine it was actually McGundle underneath that mask, but it was only for Nico's Let's Play, and so many people watching this video will be super fucking confused because that's not what happened when they played the game. And then that's when the Picky Penguins realized that Nico's bullshit guessing powers have transcended to reality warping to make any random theory Nico's has come true. Many years later, Nico would be known as a god that has warped reality so much that he made the Council of Voices into existence. Now, Nico looks down upon his followers with his wife Chiaki by his side, and then Nico wakes up from a really fucking weird dream to upload the video at 3 a.m. Yes, that's exactly what happened. Exactly. That dream was real, damn it. All right, you cannot tell me otherwise. Yeah, I'm basically just willing all this dumb shit in existence, right? Whenever I make a joke, there's a reality somewhere. It may not be this reality, but there is a reality where that shit actually happened, right? There's a reality where in-game, Asoki does call Naruhodo his little cinna-bitch. But Mr. Mars, thank you so much for your very accurate look into my fucking demon powers. It is for that reason you are comment of the day. But all right, so we now seemingly have earned Van Zeek's trust, which is great. Yay! He stopped being so mean to us. I think he likes us now. We're gonna be best buddies forever. But we do know now that Susato's father and Asoki's father were part of the trio of Japanese exchange students that came to England. Who was the third one, though, that we have yet to identify? And I'm almost thinking it could potentially be like Giselle Bread. The only thing that'd be a little bit of a stretch is I think Mikotoba would know it was her because he was obviously with her, if that were the case. It's the only person I could think of that would be one of these exchange students. Unless no, actually, you know what? It could be the judge. It actually might be the judge. The reason also I say that is because her actual name is A Shen, and I feel like that's a not so subtle like indication that she's not actually English at all. But maybe it was the judge. Maybe it was the I think because they did do stuff together as well. That might make more sense actually. But like, why did Asoki's father do this stuff? Like, he's just fucking crazy, I guess. But it's like, damn, dude, just damn. And I guess the reason why they decided to cover some of this up, or at least one of the reasons, is that if it came out that one of these exchange students from Japan was actually a serial killer, and he was this renowned one that has killed a bunch of probably English citizens, yeah, it would have been a big problem between these two countries. Believe it or not, that wasn't the final case of the game. We still got 2 more cases, guys. On to case 4. Let's get started. I don't know what the fuck's happening in this game. I don't know what's gonna happen. It was indeed a most bizarre incident born of a curious advertisement of commonplace killing at the edge of town. Twisted Karma and his last bow.
Pipe in hand, Sholmes looked down at the thick, rolling fog outside our window. I wonder exactly how many mysteries are out there, hidden within this bed of fog, he said. Indeed, a most bizarre...
Why is his hair red?
Born of a curious advertisement. A hellhound's mad gallop through the shadows of a serial murder. An executed man's graveyard resurrection in the dead of night. And a commonplace killing in a small, forgotten room at the edge of town. There is, naturally, always another side to every case, of which most remain ignorant. And it is that other side which compels me to the scene of the crime, Wilson. So quickly now, take your hat and let's be on our way, my dear fellow. For our adventure is not over yet. Come, the game is afoot.
The game is a leg. So seemingly you're getting another case, huh? Tied into this more of the Hound of Baskervilles. Of the Baskerville.
8 days after the earth-shattering trial and Cosmo regaining his memory, we were in the foyer of one of London's most luxurious hotels, the Great Waterloo Hotel.
Ooh, snazzy. November 1st, 10:24 a.m., Great Waterloo Hotel foyer. The fuck are we doing here?
Professor Mikotoba is due to arrive at any moment.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Yes, I'm so glad we got here in time.
Susato-san has to have been the same since what happened.
Have we run back into Asogi? I mean, I get that we didn't want to, we pack the end full of exposition and shit, but he did just kind of like, all right, I guess I'll see you guys later, bye, and then peaced out. It's hard to believe that we wouldn't have like immediately gone after him and be like, dude, what the fuck?
Not that I'm surprised.
The truth about Kazuma-sama's father.
Oh yeah, that shit too. There's so many things.
Do you suppose my father knew?
That he was actually the mass murderer of the professor, you mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. kind of hard to imagine he wouldn't have known.
I knew that's what she was thinking about. There's a good chance, I'd say. I mean, they did come here to London together 16 years ago, didn't they?
Yes, that's true.
Come to think of it, didn't you say that Professor Mikotoba knew about Kazuma going missing in Hong Kong as well?
That's right. But for some reason, he wasn't at liberty to talk to me about it.
That probably means he knows then
Yeah.
about Kazuma showing up here in London with amnesia. And Daddy's regained his memory now.
Yeah, I want to know how the fuck he survived that shit. Since he was seemingly poisoned, right? And I guess, why did Holmes know to cover it up? Seriously, there's so many plot points. It's kind of hard to believe that they're going to be able to actually cover all their bases here. There she is. Oh my, oh wow. Damn, Japanese judge, you dress up good, son. Wow. Damn, look how badass these two look. What the fuck? They're like they're getting ready to star in some period piece action film or something. Well, wow, so it seems like the judge is actually going to be like a relevant and important character outside of the courtroom. That's also unusual.
Oh, Father.
Hello, Susato. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. We're delighted you have arrived safe and sound.
There's a big-ass suitcase they got. Wow, look how cool he looks. Seriously. They look so badass. What the fuck? Hello, Mr. Naruhodo. Very kind of you to take the trouble to meet us here.
Oh, no, not at all. It's my pleasure.
We've heard all about your extraordinary exploits here in London, you know. The news has crossed the seas. A question mark?
Did I really not remember you? It has?
I always look forward to reading the monthly reports that arrive at the steamships from Britain.
Oh, I see. Well, thank you very much. Who is this man? And why do I feel as though I've seen him before?
I take it from your expression that you can't quite place me. In that case, how about a little reminder, Cicero? A firm tap should do it. Yes. Oh, here we go.
A firm tap? What?
Oh, here we go. Here we go, then. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Guilty!
You're...
It was me all along.
Hey, look, I have my top knot.
Eat a dick, Ryunosuke. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
Santa, is that you? Your Excellency.
Hello, Judge Shigoku. How are you? It's been a long time.
This is actually really cool too, because again, this is setting another precedent that we've never seen before. We have never seen the judge of any of these games actually like do anything outside of the courtroom, okay? And there was one moment, and I think it was Ace Attorney Investigations 1 or 2, where the judge got they talked to him, right? But he was still like just kind of there, like as a small witness. It wasn't really like super substantial. Not like he's an actual character with a name and like an identity beyond just I'm the judge. Good, you remembered now. That really did the trick. You're not even slamming anything. Guilty. He like just carries his gavel around.
Only I was declared not guilty, wasn't I? There was no laughing at the time.
So, London again after all this time. Hard to believe it's been 10 years. To be honest, never thought I'd be back. Neither did I. I didn't imagine Japan would ever be invited to an international symposium like this. No, really. I doubt anyone did, to be honest. It's all thanks to you, isn't it, Sashiro? What are you talking about, Yushin?
Of course, Judge Shigoku. He must complete the set. He's the other man who 16 years ago,
Okay.
came to London with Kazuma's father and Professor Mikotoba.
Okay. Yeah. That's right. The second time. That makes a lot more sense.
He's the third visiting scholar.
Well, all those passport checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a lot of time. I must say, I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? I knew you were jealous.
Sorry, ministerial status?
Yes, Didn't you know? Sashiro here is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. It was his personal insistence that allowed you to take Kazuma's place here on this study tour. Guilty as charged!
Oh, well, thank you very much. He's really every bit as important as he looks. Damn, that beer must have a lot of maintenance.
Ah, yes, now, Naruhodo. I received a telegram from Lord Strongheart yesterday.
Oh, you did?
It appears that some things came to light in a trial you were involved with 8 days ago. About what happened 10 years ago. That's tragedy. We have many questions. So many that I can't even remember all of them.
Yes. Could you tell us any more about it?
No. Oh.
Hey, look! Professor Mikotoba, I wonder, could I show you something?
Why do you seem so nervous?
I suppose because I'm a student showing something to a professor. That's always quite nerve-wracking.
Oh man, really? Nothing? Really? I'm shocked that showing my badge to these guys isn't giving me something unique. Well, I'm sorry I perturbed you in that way, but anyway, I'm afraid I have nothing useful to say about that, really. It's just a useless piece of shit. Thanks. Journey from Japan.
So, how's the voyage here?
Well, 50 days at sea is a long time by anyone's standards. But it wasn't as bad as when we first came here 16 years ago. No, that's true. Then I truly wondered if we wouldn't be drifting in the vast ocean for the rest of our lives. This time we followed the same route as you, so we were able to relax and enjoy the experience.
Ah, so you stopped in France's beautiful capital, Paris? Paris?
We did, yes. Though only for one night. And yesterday evening we left the port of Dunkirk for Dover. Just in time for the Symposium, in fact. It starts tomorrow.
It's wonderful that you were invited to attend such an important international event. I'm very proud of you, Father.
Aw. It's thanks to Seshiro here. 16 years ago, he managed to ingratiate himself with Britain's Attorney General. I'm sure that's why he was invited. And I suppose that you could say I'm something of an appendage by default. Speak for yourself, Yujin. You were close friends with a professor of forensic science at a major hospital. Yes, well, I'd rather not dredge all that up, really.
Close friends with the professor of forensic science at a major hospital. Who would that be? Would that have been Dr. Scythe? Let me have a look here. Damn. Oh, they're actually both the exact same age, 43. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Judge of the Supreme Court of Judicature in Japan. He's the man who acquitted me when I was once accused of murder. Did we actually ever get his age before? Was this something that was ever included? Is it just future judge that was always like question mark? It'd be kind of funny if they sort of played on that same expectation that is just thought this is just some judge guy and this guy always had the question mark next to his name until now. That'd be kind of a neat detail, but I actually can't remember. A medical school professor at the Imperial University. He's an authority in forensic medicine and misses his father.
No, there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then, but it doesn't bring him back.
Kazuma's father, I suppose.
Oh wait, is that what they were talking about? You're close friends with a professor of forensic science at a major hospital. I'd rather not dress all that up, really. And it doesn't bring him back. I don't know. I thought they were all students. So this has to be talking about somebody else. Maybe you're just saying this around the same time as that.
The professor, the killer who took the lives of 5 members of the British aristocracy, was actually Kazuma's father, wasn't he?
That's correct. Genshin Isugi.
Genshin.
You knew, I presume, Father?
Yes. He was a close friend at the time. Genshin came to Britain as a police detective. He was studying investigative techniques at Scotland Yard. I've never understood what drove the man to commit such heinous crimes. It was a closed trial, so the public never knew the truth, and he was executed with little ado. To this day, very few people know what really happened, even in our homeland.
But what about Kazuma? Did he know? Did he know the truth about his father?
No, of course not. He was told his father passed from sickness. However, I suspect he may have had his doubts.
Oh, why?
As you know, I tried to guide Kazuma growing up, as if he were my own son. Then one day, he came to my office at the university and said, I've decided. I want to travel to Great Britain and study there.
Do you think he wanted to come here to investigate his father's death?
I don't know. But when I looked into his eyes, I did know that there was no way I'd be able to stop him.
Something else came to light in that trial the other day, actually.
Oh? What?
Well, having disappeared in Hong Kong and been missing for almost a year, Cosmo has since turned up here in London, where he is the apprentice of Lord Van Zeeks.
What? What? That's news to us.
So, Lord Strongheart's telegram neglected to mention that part then.
Ah. So they did know about that. Did they know that he was dead? Or seemingly dead?
As you know, we both thought Cosmo had died on the steamship during our voyage to Great Britain in January.
But he didn't die. He's alive. As you knew, didn't you, Father?
In actual fact, no. What I did know is that when your ship docked in Hong Kong, he mysteriously vanished. Oh. We sent a team of investigators to Hong Kong to try to ascertain what had happened, but to no avail. But he's still alive. And here in London, you say? I never dared to even dream it. Why on earth did the young man not make contact? The government and the police have been chasing clues fruitlessly for months now.
Wow. Okay, so they did not know. What a twist. That's interesting. I like that. Man, dude, I don't know, man. I love these characters, dude. I love the writing in this game. I know it's such a small thing, but there's certain things with within a story where the character designs think exactly what we're thinking in terms of okay, I bet they knew. Clearly they were hiding shit. They probably knew he was still alive. And in reality, no, he wasn't. But they asked the questions that we're thinking and asking, and that can be really good for fucking storytelling, you know? We're like, oh shit, what? And what a twist! Well, they didn't know.
Well, it seems that he was suffering from amnesia.
What? Amnesia?
When we first came across him again here in London, he didn't know who either of us were.
I see.
He only regained his memory 8 days ago.
This is unbelievable. Yes. I thought that was something they'd say for Endgame.
That's what I said!
It's quite miraculous. I wonder why Lord Strongheart didn't let us know. I must speak with him urgently.
Wonder how Cosmo's been these past few days. Would it be wrong of us to go and visit him?
Of course not, damn it! That began 16 years ago now. It's a distant memory, really. It was Yushin here, Genshin, Sogi, and myself. We were the original three. The first judicial scholars from Japan to travel overseas to study. Ocean voyages were not what they are today, I can tell you.
16 years ago, things were tough for their generation.
Your father was an exceptionally fine medical student at Yume University at the time, you know, young lady.
Yes, grandmother told me.
He went to do research at a great London hospital to study autopsy, practically unheard of in Japan. Yes, it was an eerie place, sandwiched between the back of a prison and a burial ground.
Ugh, not more talk of graves.
Very often, there's no one willing to deal with bodies following autopsy work. So you see, autopsy labs have something of an unavoidable relationship with graveyards and prisons.
Not my cup of tea at all.
Do you remember that Scottish prison governor? Caden, his name was. He was a good man. Yes. But then, of course, in our 6 years here, everything changed with that dreadful case. When Genshin was arrested for a series of the most gruesome murders. I simply couldn't believe it. I'd known the man for years. I was a witness at the secret hearing, and I tried to speak in his defense, but you went a little too far, and ended up facing charges yourself, didn't you?
Oh.
Well, suffice to say that after the trial, we were sent back to Japan.
Wow. Surprised he was managed to make a living after that shit, you know? I guess this is all privately handled, so the public really didn't really know about it.
There was nothing more we could do to save Genshin. He was a lost cause, sadly.
Actually, has he been added to my... Nope, not yet. Genshin.
Well, if you'll excuse us now. Yes, I'd like to get this trunk up to my room as soon as possible.
No, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have held you up here for so long.
I'll call for the porter then. Just wait here.
Zip! Susato-san's gone off at a run.
Huzzah!
I'd like to stay and talk more, but I do have various preparations to make for tomorrow.
Yes, of course. It must be a big responsibility representing our entire country. I wish you the best of luck. Please don't either of you die, all right, before this fucking case is over.
I still have many questions. Naruhodo, I hope you'll keep an eye on Susato for me. Keep looking after her, as you obviously have been.
No. I mean, if anyone's looking after anyone, it's her looking after me.
Well, I do appreciate you being there for her. After all, I've been a miserable father to her. I've thoroughly let her down.
Sorry? What do you mean?
Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study tour here in Britain, as you know. The very year Susato was born.
Yes, I heard.
The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event of my life, but, well, sadly, it was accompanied by the most tragic event of my life, too.
Oh, yes. Susato-san hinted at something like that.
It was a rather turbulent time at home.
Anyway, I won't bore you with the details. The point is, I became rather less dependable than befits a grown man. And it was then that Seshiro offered me the opportunity to study here in Great Britain. I was too worried about you to leave you behind. So perhaps I was a little heavy-handed when it came to persuading you to accompany me to London. So, that's what happened in a nutshell. And that's also the reason why I now feel compelled to give my daughter as many opportunities as I dare. Though the world does not readily afford young women such things, I must say.
I completely understand, Professor.
So, like, did his wife die or something? We don't really know yet, do we? What really drove him to come over here? He's not really elaborating. Because he's like, it is kind of strange that his daughter would be born and then instead of staying behind to look after her, he runs off to fucking Great Britain.
Ah, one other thing, Naruhodo. I swear to God, if you break her heart, I will break your ankles. What? Nothing. Anyway, if I may be so bold, I have a favor to ask you.
Oh, really? Yeah, of course. What can I do for you?
Well, the thing is, Oh, damn it! Oh my God, it's the fucking dude from Alarm!
I'm so sorry that took so long.
Oh my God,
That's another jury member, right? The hell, you're here too? Wow. Actually, you know what just hit me? The guy that got knocked unconscious at Madame Tuspel's place? That didn't amount to anything, right? That juror guy? That didn't amount to anything at all, did it? And then look, we got another one. I'm guessing we just need other fucking sprites or character models to use, right? So whatever. This is where this guy works now.
Miss Susato.
Now then, allow us to take your bags.
Allow me to take your bags. One moment, if you please, Porter. Oh, of course, sir.
Of course, he's got his bottle. That's right. He was over there drinking shit, right?
The machine around your neck. It's a camera, I believe. No, quite right, sir. Just 5 shillings for a lovely photograph to commemorate a wonderful stay at the hotel, sir. Well, I think given the occasion, we could justify the expense. Yes, of course.
Oh, that's cute. Oh. Susato's the only one smiling. We all look so serious.
I'd like to thank you for coming with me, Mr. Naruhodo. It's really made Father very happy, I think.
Oh, well, I'm pleased then. But we were interrupted before. Damn it! Professor Mikotoba was about to ask me something.
Shall we return to Baker Street then? I expect Iris will have some delicious tea waiting for us.
Yes, let's go. I'm getting more and more anxious about Cosmo, though. God dang it, he needs this little cinnabitch right now! Perhaps I'll try to meet with Lord Strongheart later and ask after him.
Anything to look at here?
Look at those cases just left there on that trolley. Aren't they worried about thieves? I know I am.
Haven't you seen the porter over there? Don't worry, he's obviously keeping an eye on everything.
Ah, so it's a trap designed to catch any chancers who might be tempted. Why did the porter give me such a scathing look just now, do you suppose?
Well, some might say you look a little suspicious with your jet black clothes.
Hey, that's profiling, and profiling's wrong. Now everyone clad in black is some sort of ninja with intent to steal, you know.
Don't you fucking look at me.
This is a plant.
That desk is known as the hotel reception. Anyone wanting to spend the night has to report there to sign in for their stay.
Oh, so you think that's the head clerk behind the desk there? I wonder if he's also a jury member.
Yes, I'm sure it must be.
I'd love to stay in a grand hotel like this for a little while. Wouldn't you? Just know what it's like.
If the hotel fee was paid through our stipend, I'm afraid it might bankrupt our homeland.
True. London gives the word expensive a whole new meaning. Have you seen all those sparkling jewels up there? They must have gathered every gem in the world for that.
Ah, it's called a chandelier, I believe. It's designed to provide elegant lighting in large, spacious rooms like this.
So they had to gather every gem in the world just to illuminate one room?
It's probably electric light bulbs that are actually throwing the light.
I liked my idea better. If I tried to hang something like that from the ceiling in the office, it would be scraping on the floor.
I think perhaps chandeliers aren't for you, Mr. Naruhodo.
I think you are perhaps right, Miss Susato.
Any tea and crumpets? Hello.
Look at that. It's a picture of the Crystal Tower.
Well, the Great Exhibition is one of Britain's most prestigious achievements in recent years. I wonder how tall it is. It really does represent the pinnacle of scientific achievement in so many ways.
There's a 20-meter tall chimney on the bathhouse near my lodges at Yuma University. The attendant there is always boasting that's the tallest object in the neighborhood.
I'm sure. Did you know that over the channel in Paris, there's a tower that's 300 meters tall?
What? How? How many times taller than that chimney at Yuma Sock and High Springs is that? And if it's that tall, how does it draw properly? The smoke would get stuck, surely.
I don't think that's that sort of tower, Mr. Naruhodo.
I guess we're off then. I guess we go to Lord Chief Justice. We're gonna do that now? I believe Iris is tea waiting for us. My fucking attic. Let's just go to the attic for a second.
Rudo, get your booty out, Havel! This tea sitting on hot waiting for you for hours now!
Sorry, but I gotta check the tea up in this area now. November 1st, Naruhodo's legal consultancy.
What to do? I just want to talk to you, actually. It's good news that Professor Mikotoba arrived safely, isn't it?
Yes, it's wonderful. And the fact that Father has been invited to this important international event. It really makes me very proud to be his daughter.
Your father, Judge Jigoku, us, and Kazuma, of course. There's an ever-increasing number of Japanese here in Britain's capital, isn't there?
Well, yes, I suppose so. But London does have a population of 6 million people, so I think we're still a minority.
Sister-san's father came here as a visiting student 16 years ago, and Kazuma. It's almost as if some great power has been at work, drawing them here across the ocean to London.
All according to Isis' plan.
And now it feels as though the waters are starting to swell again.
And also, let's look at this. Let's see if we see anything different. Probably not.
The spade is still here. Look.
Please, Mr. Naruhodo, it's not a spade, as I think you well know. It's a shovel.
Didn't take long to reignite that old argument.
I have an idea. Let's give the implement a name, like Professor Hairbrain named his tools.
Oh, it's something new.
Oh, I never thought of doing that.
From now on then, let's call it Ryunosuke.
No. It's clearly much more of a Susato. The old argument has taken a new and unexpected turn, it seems.
These two are so goofy. Look at the room again.
The Daruma doll's still winking at me. Look. I wonder when he'll finally get his other eye filled in.
Yes, I wonder.
Well, you should know, Susato-san. I trust the task to you.
The truth is, I have already decided when that will be. At the end of the game! Probably.
What? Really? When?
That's my little secret.
She's just gonna come in one day and be like,
Mr. Naruhodo, I've gone ahead and painted in the other eye of the Daruma.
Wow! Does that mean I'm finally an attorney?
That's right. However, I've hidden the Daruma and buried it somewhere in the backyard.
What?
You're gonna have to find it using this shovel.
You mean the spade?
No, it's a shovel. Right, Mr. Naruhodo?
Fine. It's a shovel.
Yeah!
Now tell me where my Daruma is.
That's for you to find, Mr. Naruhodo. I've won the war. That's all I care about.
Damn it.
oh, look at Susato's little desk.
My desk is just as it was before I left.
Sumi ink and a calligraphy brush, even though we're in England now.
It strikes me as typically you, Miss Susato, and typically not you at the same time.
Well, I do enjoy all the wonderful things to come out of the West in the Cultural Revolution, of course. But I'm not ready to give up my brush just yet.
And anyway, Susato-san can write more neatly with a brush than most people can with a pen.
Practice makes perfect, as they say.
All right, I'm gonna go in your room where all your girlhood secrets are. Your room across the hall is undisturbed, of course. I don't suppose I'd be permitted to see inside now that you're back, though, would I?
You know very well that only I are still allowed inside.
Yes, I heard you two giggling together in there again last night.
You can visit Mr. Holmes in his room, Mr. Naruto.
I don't want to, though. His room smells funny. It has bullet holes in the wall. Last time I did that, he tried to convince me to drink some strange concoction he mixed up.
All the sea life seemed very content in there, I must say.
I've noticed something recently, actually. The anemones breed at a most extraordinary rate.
Oh, really?
It's a mystery. Why the seabed isn't buried in a mountain of them, actually.
Oh, how splendid. That really is a mystery, isn't it?
They just like to make babies. I wish there was someone here to explain Susato-san's strange reaction to that. She's like,
Babies! Babies everywhere!
You see, I've been keeping my desk beautifully covered in papers as always.
You really must tidy it all up, Mr. Naruto. No more excuses.
But Miss Susato, the way I see it, all these papers building up on my desk like this are a reminder of my wonderfully diverse daily life. I like to leave them as they are, so I never forget how lucky I am to have such a varied experiences.
In that case, you should definitely have a thorough tidy. Then you'll be able to see your papers building up all over again and feel that you're renewed.
Still can't beat her in an argument. Even though I'm the lawyer here.
Steam is rising gently from the kettle as always.
Yes, it doesn't feel right somehow unless it is. I feel like this might be a fire hazard if we leave it unattended, but whatever. But the steam has an unusual scent today.
Perhaps the sweet potatoes that I brought back from Japan with me are ready. Oh, Mr. Naruto, I heard that, you know.
Tears of joy, Miss Susato, from my mouth.
You don't like sweet potatoes, Naruto? It's just like a special blend of tea with sweet potatoes?
Whenever you serve me tea, it always takes me back to Japan.
I know you're not particularly fond of the bitter taste, are you? So I do always try to pick out less bitter matcha for you.
She does often serve up an unusually mellow blend, it's true. But the anticipation of the taste in my mouth makes me bitterly worried anyway.
It is very difficult for you, isn't it?
I do my best for you, Miss Susato.
Well, this fluff doll looks good. It's actually, I think all of this was actually a bit different than previously. Or at least most of it was. I just like hearing them chat with each other. Because I give so much of a fuck about these characters. All right, let's go get us our tea. Before Iris gets mega angry. November 1st, home sweet. What the?
What was that?
A man screaming in a most unflattering way.
Do you think? Could it have been Mr. Holmes?
Oh my, I do hope not.
Who the Oh God, now what? Very red-haired people suddenly.
I don't want to do it anymore.
Italian? No, God damn it. No, more French people. Actually, now I think about it, is this technically the first French person we've had? Because I thought last time that one balloon guy was French, but he actually wasn't. He was Italian. Wait, hold on a second. I'm just gonna you know what? I'm just gonna check, because I obviously suck at this. Mon ami, yes, that is absolutely French. Great, okay, now an actual French guy.
Mon ami, mon ami.
Stop this. Oh, thank you. You wrote it phonetically. Thank you.
Stop this disgraceful display, oh? Who are these people? Look at their hair. It's bright red. What do they think this is, an anime?
I think they must be clients of Mr. Holmes.
Hey, Gina's here too.
Right, you two. You're coming with me now. Down to the clink.
Oh.
No, don't to the prison. It is dark and damp and I don't like it.
Oh, the darkness. It's my friend. I am not scared.
You're always scared of the dark.
Shut
Shut up, you idiot. I was quietly in the dark plan our next daring heist.
What? Next daring heist?
I didn't like this. I don't like it. Well, tough. We'll finish this down the yacht. Now get moving. Bye then, Jenny. Have fun, you silly billies, you.
He's crying now, too.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Iris. And thanks, you great detective.
Another job well done, I guess.
Gina makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she? Oh, Susie and Bruno!
Hello, Iris. We're home.
Well, did you find your daddy? I'm still looking for mine. Yes, we arrived at the hotel just before he and his friend. Oh, well, that's great news. I hope I'll get to see my daddy again soon.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Every time she says that, a little piece of me dies inside. Mrs. Stu, I don't know if I can hold this shit any longer.
Be strong, Mr. Naruhodo. Ah, yes, of course.
Dr. John H. Watson. So, Iris, all that remains now is that greatest of problems known to man. But before we concern ourselves with that, I believe some tea is in order. Don't you, my dear fellows?
Oh, my God.
Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Wha- Do I have a crumb or just like on my face?
What is my theme song? It's not like my theme song will just stop playing.
Not so much on your face as on your head, I'd say.
Come along then, everyone. I brewed a lovely special blend. Time for tea. Whatever is going on here today?
In that case, let us sit and drink now. For I am, in fact, expecting a guest later today.
Why is nothing about your fucking red hot mane? All right, more than anything though, let's go over here. I think it's the one thing that seems to change every now and then.
This blackboard's where Iris scrolls down her lace ideas, isn't it? Let's see. Oh, she's gonna draw a lot of little stick figures all lined up. Look.
Cheap apples at the market is what all of them say.
What? The little figures can speak?
All of your questions would be answered if only you would read this month's Rants magazine.
So I'm the only one who can't make any sense of this.
I think that's different. I think it's like some of it. I think the line is different, but then everything else around it was the same. Generally, every time I've been checking back here, though, everything's kind of been the same, to be honest. Wait, the mask is on the desk.
The masked Cosmo wore when he's assigned to Lord Van Six's apprentice. When he cast aside for the trial the other day, I just sort of picked it up. It's super cool. I want to wear it and be a super mysterious guy. In the background.
I'm afraid there's no closing that box, Mr. Naruhodo. You are the main character, after all.
Damn it.
We ought to give it back to him, I suppose.
But he has his memory back now, doesn't he? He doesn't need to be all Mysterio anymore. And I can't help feeling he might turn around and tell me to coldly to wear it myself.
But isn't he your best friend?
I don't know anymore. It's been so long, I thought he was dead.
Okay, seriously, what's up with your hair?
Mr. Holmes, who are the two gentlemen that were here before?
Oh, just a pair of petty criminals. Nothing of significance. Of course, they have to make a living somehow. And when the mood takes me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to all manner of infractions.
When the mood takes you?
All manner of infractions? But when such fellows set their sights on Mr. Sherlock Holmes, well, that's when their luck runs out.
Oh my, you were the target of a crime, Mr. Holmes?
But I quickly devised a plan to entrap them and deliver them to our young detective ally.
You should have asked Screxy to come too. We could have had an arresting tea party, and then I could have blasted you with my gun.
I did send word, but no answer was forthcoming. The man is constantly in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's a word for it, I'm sure. Aha, I have it. A bungler. That's the word. It's a good job he's not here to hear you say that. So those redheads had been up to no good. Making trouble in our neighborhood, Mr. Holmes? Quite right.
I wonder what the men did.
Were they both men? I thought the one was a little girl. Well, they didn't get out of my thing here, so.
What was that about the greatest problems known to man that you mentioned before? Is it why your hair's red and getting it out?
It's another fiendishly intricate case, Mr. Holmes.
How should I best explain it? Are you aware of the theory of evolution by natural selection, perchance? Well, I think I've heard talk of it somewhere. Possibly.
It's a revolutionary scientific theory that was newly proposed 40 years ago now. Let me check my handy-dandy book where literally everything is written down. According to its author, Mr. Darwin, we humans were once apes who lived in the treetops.
Wait, what? We were apes? I'm a monkey?
Monkey people.
Indeed, and from the very moment those apes descended from the canopy to live as humans, it has been our lot to be at the mercy of the greatest problem known to man.
Our lot? What is this great problem, Mr. Holmes?
Why, is it not obvious, my dear madam? The problem of rent!
But did you not receive a rather large sum of money from Madame Two Spells only the other day?
Psh, a large sum? One parted herb for Iris and a new motor car for me later, and all of it has quite disappeared, I say.
A new motor car? Oh, I know, God. Just burns through that money.
Honestly, Holmesy, you know you squandered it. You're not even gonna use that car.
Yes, well, anyway, 2 days ago, I discovered the answer to man's greatest problem, for the coming month at least. And what was the answer? Why, there's a substantial clue before your very eyes.
Your hair? Do you have a wig on or something?
Don't tell me. Let me see.
Humans are sorry creatures, unable to see what it is right in front of their noses. Let me give you some assistance. Don't look, but observe me very closely. There is one particular feature about my person that has changed. You should notice it at the end, I think.
God, I don't know, man. Oh, I don't think I see it. Did you shine your binoculars?
No, but you're getting close, Naruto.
Oh, God, so, I'm sorry, I don't know, Mr. Holmes. Oh, come on, Mr. Holmes, you got this.
In the end, I know it's rather surprising. You may be shocked to hear.
This was stabbing me in both eyes right from the very beginning of our conversation. My eyes!
I think we might need another clue before we uncover the full answer, Mr. Naruto.
Oh, come on, really? Thanks for the hint. I'll be tearing my hair out if this charade goes on much longer.
Mr. Holmes, is it about time you told us the truth? Just over a week ago, you said to us,
remember when my hair used to not be red?
I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. That case aboard the SS Buria in January. Cosmo wasn't killed, and you knew he wasn't dead at the time. So what really was going on? The fellow was unconscious for a very long time. If he hadn't regained consciousness when he did, his life would have been in mortal peril. Of course, a side effect of the prolonged comatose state was amnesia, as you now know. It was a simple enough task to silence the crew. But how?
Also, does that mean that one Russian girl was arrested for murder? Shouldn't we let her know that he's not dead?
After they carried him out of the cabin, I assembled them in the lobby area. Then I made them swear to leave him unconscious and have him unlaid from the ship in Hong Kong as a murdered corpse.
Oh, how horrible.
It was necessary to find some material with which to persuade the crewmen to keep their word, of course. But why? Why do it in the first place? I'll be at liberty to elaborate in due course. But for the time being, I would like to reassure you. I didn't foresee subsequent events. What events? His disappearance in Hong Kong.
Oh.
I believe I may have made a gross error of judgment. Mr. Holmes.
I thought our friend was dead, damn it. Look at this.
Mr. Holmes, about this.
Oh, wait, we've done this before, right?
Is this the first time you showed me this particular trinket? Oh, I don't really remember, to be honest. If my saying that it's a collar for a breed of miniature canine with a particularly long neck was precipitate, here we go again from your lips. We could be sure it was not the first time. Oh my God, he actually commented on it. Oh my God. Oh my God, that's hilarious. This is the third time we've had this conversation, Mr. Armodo. You keep I remember I did this before and I was like, wait, no, this is literally the same conversation. Deduction, you see, my dear fellow. Deduction.
Oh man, I feel like I should got an achievement for that shit. That was funny. So I gotta, okay, I need more evidence. Is there like something around here that indicates the dye on his hair?
I finally managed to remember his behemoth's name, the Great Analyticscope.
I don't think it was here when I left for Japan, was it?
Oh, is that right?
Yes, because it was with the pawnbroker.
Ah, of course.
I thought it was here. It was here. This is literally the start of the last game.
Oh, this gave me a wonderful idea. I could pawn everything that's on your desk. The office would be tidy at last.
Don't even joke about it, Miss Susato. You are joking, aren't you?
What am I trying to do? I'm trying to convince Holmes here. I don't see anything. Oh, here we go.
This looks like last week's edition.
What's that article circled in red ink there?
It's an advertisement column. It says, to the Red-Headed League.
The Red-Headed League? What's that?
I don't know. I've never heard of it before, but...
Just look, glances to the right.
Is something on my face?
Clearly this has something to do with that. Lively hair. Ah, thank God. An advertisement from the newspaper entitled The Red-Headed League. Seems somewhat suspicious in nature. All right, hold on. Let's have a look-see at it. On account of the bequest of the late Ezekiel Hopkins of Lebanon, PA, USA, there's now another vacancy open which entitles a member of the league to a salary of £4 a week for purely nominal services. All redheaded men who are sound in body and mind and above the age of 21 years are eligible. Apply in person on the morning of the 31st, large park in the Lime Street, on Lime Street. If you are redheaded, what in the fuck? Well, that is a very unusual requirement. But, oh, wait.
It looks as though someone circled an advertisement in this paper, Mr. Holmes. To the Red-Headed League? Does that strike you in some way?
I was thinking that just maybe it might be related to your bright red hair. Am I in the ballpark?
So, at last you've learned to apply my methods, Mr. Arhodo. You are finally beginning to believe.
Sorry?
In the first instance, and quite indispensable, observation.
Believe me, I could have seen that hair with my eyes shut.
So then, allow me to regale you with the details of my latest exploits.
Regale or boast?
Why not both? So what is the Red-Headed League, which seems to be the subject of the advertisement you circled? You noticed it in the paper then? That, my dear fellow, was going to be the source of this month's rent payment. It was? How? According to the advertisement, the Red-Headed League is a distinguished institution of fellows of unspecified governance. In fact, the only condition for becoming a member is having red hair.
That doesn't entirely surprise me.
But listen to what the lucky redheads receive once they join. An unconditional salary of £4 a week. Oh my, £4 a week?
But why? What are they paying people for?
That I don't know. No details are given in the advertisement.
I might have to kill a motherfucker, but it's still worth it.
But surely every redheaded person in the country would be flocking to join in that case. You're right, Susie. There's no time to lose. I'll put in my application at once. So will I, just on the off chance.
That might be stretching a point, I think. Oh God, everyone's gonna be redheaded by the end of this shit.
I guess this explains, this is gonna obviously relate to both this case and the guys we saw earlier who also had red hair, right? Because we saw in that little cutscene at the start, I was like, why does everyone have red hair? It's gonna, clearly it's playing into something.
The trouble is they have a fixed number of members, you see.
Oh, I see. So once a certain number of people have joined, no one else can. But as luck would have it, One member recently passed away.
It wasn't particularly lucky for the red-headed head in question, I feel, Mr. Holmes.
Oh, whatever. One man's dead body is another man's treasure, as they say. So you decided to try to join his place? Correct. I mean, look at me. Have you ever seen such a red-headed fellow?
No.
So why? Why did it have to go so wrong?
What on earth happened?
A blunder, Mr. Naruhodo. Though it pains me to admit it.
Oh boy.
What did you actually do to your hair, Mr. Holmes?
I'm glad you asked, Miss Susato. What you see atop my head is neither dyed nor hairpiece. I changed the color of my hair overnight. By the wonders of chemistry.
Chemistry?
I was conducting some research into a method of rejuvenating spent tea leaves. And in the course of my work, I stumbled upon a potion that, when taken, turns one's hair flame like red. Would you like to try it? It will make every hair on your body perfectly crimson.
I think I'll pass.
Mr. Holmes, is it quite safe to drink? Surely it's bad for you, isn't it?
Amateurs are always hampered by such fears.
Oh, I should never have doubted you, Mr. Holmes. You mean to say?
But of course. To earn £4 per week, one must be prepared to turn a blind eye to a little danger.
That degree of red signals more than just a little danger, surely.
So anyway, Holmesy left full of confidence yesterday with his new red hair. For the park on Lime Street where the Redhead League were interviewing prospective new members.
So what went wrong? The whole park was choked with red-headed folk like a Coster's orange barrow. I queued up for 8 hours solid before at last I reached the front. But when the panel of interviewers saw me, they immediately said, "Ah, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, are you in disguise conducting an investigation?"
Everyone knows what he looks like.
So naturally, I had no choice but to reply, "Shh, don't give me away." After which I could do little else but turn and leave.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Then this morning, when I looked into the mirror, irritation stirred within me. So I turned that pair into the police.
Oh dear, what a disaster. For Holmesy and those two redheads.
What? What do the two redheads have to do with it?
Mr. Holmes, you mentioned before that you were expecting a guest today?
Indeed, Mrs. Toe, that is correct. Oh, there's my music. I was wondering who it was.
I just couldn't get this boombox to play. Sorry, Holmesy.
Not another of those red-headed gentlemen that were here before?
Not at all. They were petty villains. The guest I'm expecting is a client. Oh? A young gentlewoman who wishes to report the services of this great detective, no less.
Oh, how wonderful, Mr. Holmes.
You must stay and observe the fashion in which a great detective receives his customers. Must we? I have you in my clutches now, Rent. Just as I have you in my clutches, redheads.
Oh god.
That hearty laugh is masking rather sinister thoughts, I feel. You know, the lady isn't due for another hour yet. Don't feel as though you must wait around if you have other things to do.
Okay, I guess we'll mosey on. You mosey on while I sit here with my beautiful, gorgeous red mare and regret my life decisions.
All right, let's go see Strongheart and be like, Nani the fuck, dude. Oh my god, the Zeeks is in the house. November 1st, British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office.
Damn, look at those legs of his. I mean, what? Oh god, what? What, Mr. Still, what? Here's the final draft of the opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. I've supplemented your original with the figures you asked for from the yard.
I see. Excellent work. Thank you.
You're welcome, my lord. What's Lord Van Zeek's doing here?
My, there seems to be an awful lot of tension in the air, wouldn't you say?
This place is stifling enough as it is. We really don't need any more tension.
My apologies. I didn't notice you come in. Your small stature and dark dress make you all but invisible to me.
No. It's entirely my fault for wearing black, I'm sure.
From now on, you must dress in white from head to toe whenever you come here.
Now then, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, my lord. Yeah, I'm right here. Yeah, kill me now.
Is something wrong? Perhaps it's a little too hot in here for you.
No, not at all. I mean, I've never experienced a room at such perfect temperature.
If you're sure, the piece of sweat carving their way down your face seemed to suggest otherwise.
Because of the daggers they're staring at me with, mainly.
As you're no doubt aware, my International Forensic Science Symposium begins tomorrow. In fact, your father arrived in London earlier today. I hear, madam.
Oh, yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honored to have been invited.
I'll leave the remaining preparations for the meeting room and your capable hands in, Lord Van Zeeks.
I will attend at once. Yo, what up? All right, bye. Whatever.
He gave you a very cold stare as you left, didn't he?
I know, but I haven't done anything. Have I? Thought we were friends now. I thought he loved me. Like I love him.
These past few days, my feet have barely touched the ground, I must say. My dedicated right hand of many years was recently put out of action in spectacular fashion.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still of service?
Mr. Naruhodo, he's talking about Dr. Scythe.
Of course. Oh, shit. I'm terribly sorry about that. I was just,
Fear not, you've done nothing wrong. Dr. Sai's own wrongdoing precipitated the situation. You needn't concern yourself with it any further.
That would be a lot easier to do if it weren't for the piercing stare you're giving me.
Lord Van Zeeks is doing an admirable job of holding the fort. Though, disturbingly, his apprentice has been missing since yesterday.
Oh, missing?
Really? So he hasn't come into work?
What's become of Cosmosoma now?
Speaking of, yeah, we gotta kinda
Ask you about that. Also, the Science Symposium.
Not long ago, visitor numbers to the Great Exhibition exceeded 30 million.
30 million? Are there even that many people in the world?
As a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, the population of the imperial capital Tokyo is 2 million.
I will be opening the International Forensic Science Symposium in the exhibition's main auditorium. This event has been 2 years in the making. 2 years of preparations and negotiations with other countries.
Sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congratulations.
The 20th century will see the wholesale adoption of forensic investigation techniques, and cooperation between policing organizations around the globe will be essential. Which is why this landmark first symposium had to be hosted here at the heart of our great British Empire, in order that Scotland Yard can become the leading investigative organization in the New World.
He's the same as ever, I see. That passion of his is quite something.
You're every bit as passionate in your own way. I'm sure, Mr. Naruhodo.
I'm the only person in this country who truly cares about a future that embraces forensic science. It was my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General and reform the Yard from the ground up. So, the disgrace of the forensic investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions. Oh boy.
Yeah, about that.
I first established the forensic investigation team a year ago, experimentally to start with. With Dr. Scythe at the helm, it was steadily accruing an impressive record of achievement. I was on the verge of changing its name and elevating its status to a full-blown forensic investigation department.
And can you not do that now?
Obviously. Nobody wants to hear anything about it at the moment. Even I can't keep this story out of the papers. 6 million Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. This incident will set back our country's advancement in the field by a good 10 years, I'd say.
Unintended repercussions of our trial.
We simply couldn't have overlooked what had happened, though.
Of course not. We should all be grateful to you both. Anyway, I'll still reform this country's policing when I become Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but it won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way.
About Lord Van Zeek's apprentice.
Ah, yes. That came as a surprise to me, I must say. That you and he are old friends.
How did he become an apprentice to Lord Van Zeek's in the first place?
He came about 3 months ago. An unidentified Asian man was apprehended by border police. They found him hiding aboard a large goods vessel.
Oh my. So he stood away to get here?
He had no papers to identify him, no passport, and he was suffering from amnesia too. Other than the fact he was clearly of Eastern descent, there were no clues as to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord Van Zeeks. That way I could keep an eye on him.
But then, why the mask?
I didn't want to burden Lord Van Zeeks with tiresome explanations about why he had an Eastern appearance.
Because it would be so much easier to explain why he was wearing a mask?
Yeah, really. He's proving to be a great help to Lord Van Zeeks. I have high hopes for his future.
By the way, do you know where he's gone?
No idea, but I believe he's left London for the time being.
Oh.
Aw. I take it you also didn't know that the man's father was one of our country's most infamous criminals, I mean.
Genshin Asogi. What we learned from the trial 8 days ago was a huge shock. Finding out my friend's father was.
Ah, yes, Genshin Asogi. The professor case 10 years ago caused a great stir here in Britain.
They were such awful murders. And unprecedented. Using a ferocious dog as a murder weapon.
And no one would have believed the culprit was a foreign student invited to study here by the government. So the true identity of the killer couldn't be made public then, and can't be made public now. Nobody in your country knows it was him, and neither do the citizens of London.
The main motivation was to avoid aggravating relations between our two nations at the time. I understand.
Correct. However, it has to be noted that there were some supporters of the professor's apparent cause.
What? Supporters of a mass murderer?
The majority of the man's victims were a blight on the aristocracy of the day. Somewhat ironically, their deaths actually benefited society as a whole.
Oh, really? So he killed...
Oh. Now that is something we were not aware of. These weren't innocent people he was killing. He was killing... Oh. Oh, that's interesting. That sounds a lot like something else that's been going on lately, right? Sounds a lot like the Reaper curse that seems to be plaguing us as of now.
Or so a fair few thinkers in London believed anyway.
Right, I see. But it was still a murder, wasn't it?
Is Strongheart someone who agrees with that? I wonder.
It seems very similar, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh my God! Susato's on this shit! Dude, I love it, man. I love how smart Susato and Naruhodo are. They just figure this shit. They're like, we're not gonna let you simmer on this shit. Nah, man, we're gonna go right at it, motherfucker.
To the idea of the Reaper of the Bailey.
Huh? We're not done, are we?
I guess that is it.
We just end there? Good talking then, I guess. Bye.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling!
Aha! Here is my guest now, my latest client, with money to spend.
Oh, I do hope it's an exciting case, Holmesy.
Me too, otherwise we're gonna be go destitute after this. Remember, Iris, we are, at present, gripped by the greatest problem known to man. How to get rid of my flaming red hair. I must be willing to accept any case, no matter how unstimulating. Save locating a runaway, of course. Don't spare anyone's feelings, will you?
Oh dear. I'm afraid that Holmesy can lack a little tact, especially just before the rent is due.
Thwack. Oh! Oh my God, really, lady? Oh, well, there she is.
Yes, we are going to be reusing my bottle again.
Of course, why not? Lady, we just saw you.
Mr. Holmes, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, please, oh please. Please find my husband. He's run away. Ah! Oh!
Oh, hey, ma'am. To upset me.
Of course.
I beg your pardon.
Never mind. A personal matter. My apologies. What exactly are you trying to say, Mr. Naruhodo? I didn't say a word, you ass. Come, my dear madam, be seated. Iris, some tea, if you please.
Of course.
Oh, God, another runaway case. I just can't wait. I just can't fucking wait. What's the matter, Miss Susato?
Oh, it's just that gentlewoman. I feel sure I've seen her somewhere before. Very recently.
Yes, now you come to mention it.
It's a small world after all.
Evie. It's just got a name too.
As I explained earlier, my name is Evie Vigil.
Evie Vigil. Evie Vigil? Like individual or something? I don't know. I'm not sure if I see this one.
I implore you, take the case, sir. Money is no object. Simply name your figure.
Money and wealth are of little consequence to me, madam.
Holy shit, she said it. Did you say any number? Holy shit. In his head.
Big offer the case to solve is reward enough.
Oh, Mr. Holmes, you have a picture of benevolence.
I will, of course, make a mental note of your offer, however, for contingent reasons.
I trust you remember your words also, please. Also, go ahead and write that down. And sign here, and sign here, and sign here.
If I might inquire, sir. This gentleman and lady would be...
Me?
What I'm about to tell you, I should like to communicate in the strictest of confidence. You understand?
These are my friends. I assure you, you may say before this pair anything which you may say to me. Also, hi, do you not remember me from that trial? You were kind of there for a while, and I was there for a while. It was a long case.
I see.
I can vouch for the gentleman personally. After all, he's hard of hearing. Why did I ever get my hopes up? Hey, lady, look. Remember me? Miss Vigil, would you mind casting your eyes over this?
Oh, my poor Dally. Where have you gone? What's become of you? I'm afraid she's too worried about her husband to pay any attention, Mr. Naruto.
Either that or she just doesn't want to be bothered with me. Oh,
Nobody reacts enough to my armband. It's so cool, too. All right, Mrs. Vigil.
forgive me for asking, Mrs. Vigil, but have we met somewhere before? Quite recently, perhaps?
Oh, my.
My dear fellow, what is your intention? Clearly you have no ability to differentiate the facial features of the English. If you wish to invite the lady to tea, you must do so in more gentlemanly fashion.
Is it possible that you're the nice young lawyer from the trial I attended last week?
Ah, I knew I recognized her. Why did it take me that long? Like, what else have I been doing with my life that I would mix her up with anybody?
To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly. It sends shivers down my spine.
I didn't quite recognize her because she's acting so differently now.
Really? She seems pretty much the same to me.
It must be very difficult for you as a lawyer. Being hard of hearing, I mean.
I'll just ignore him.
Pardon?
Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Don't worry if you can't hear. It was frippery, really. Nothing more.
Now look at you, star, Mr. Holmes. Thank you very much. God damn it. I believe it would be prudent for you to sit quietly in the corner. Yes.
Mr. Virgil. Virgil!
I need more power. Tell us about your husband, madam.
He slays demons for a living. Mr. Vigil, my dally, is 40 years of age. I have a photograph here.
That cannot be a current picture of him.
An entirely remarkable gentleman, by peers at least.
He's 40 years old? He looks pretty fucking young in this picture.
How long have you been married?
It will be 15 years this year.
Actually, how old are you? I thought you looked fairly young as well, but 36, yeah? Yeah, God, they actually look, I mean, they're very similar hair color too. They're going to be related. Oh, the Daily Vigil. I got that. That one's more obvious. It's literally, that's on the nose. Daily Vigil. Evie Vigil? This one I don't know what Evie Vigil would give me though. Yeah, this guy does not look 40.
We have a cordial relationship and my husband's income is more than adequate, so we live quite comfortably.
As would appear, I need only look at you to know these things.
Oh gosh.
Your dress is the latest style, your hat clearly regularly groomed, and your eyes are animated. In short, you have no inkling as to why your husband might have disappeared, correct?
That's right. He's a kind man with a strong sense of loyalty and lots of money. And he rather dotes on me.
Which would point to the possibility that he has become embroiled in some incident or other.
Or he's already fucking dead. But based on the start of this, where we found a deceased person in a lone room.
Oh, that's exactly what I think must have happened. Mr. Holmes, I'm quite beside myself. My husband's employment is somewhat unusual, you see. What if he's incurred some miscreant's ill will?
What exactly is your husband's line of work?
He's a warder at the prison.
Of course he is.
A guard? That is somewhat unusual. So, your husband is a prison warder.
That's right, yes. Well, in actual fact, he's the chief warder.
Indeed. I see. Well, chief prison warder certainly qualifies as something of a specialist occupation.
Yes, it does indeed. My poor husband must prepare those dreadful punishments and see that they're carried out.
Ah, really? Like the one that might have happened many years ago, or was supposed to happen many years ago.
Dreadful punishments? Does she mean capital punishments?
And at such times, he must occasionally spend a night or two in the prison dormitory. But for that extra responsibility, he is remunerated more handsomely than the other warders. Of course, we make no mention of my husband's work to the neighbors.
Yes, I believe your prudence is justified. Tell me, at what prison is your husband engaged?
Barclay Prison, Mr. Holmes.
Really? Barclay? Oh, a fine establishment. If I'm not mistaken, there's a large cemetery just behind it.
Everything is tied together. Everything.
Yes, that's correct. Lowgate Cemetery.
Oh, that fucking place. Ah! No, my God.
Lowgate Cemetery? The very place we were discussing in court? That's unbelievable.
What are the odds? Just what are the odds? Are all these fucking jury members?
Unbelievable, my dear fellow, and yet undeniable.
Sorry, Mr. Holmes. I'm afraid you've lost me.
Were you not paying attention to court a few days ago? Remember, Lowgate Cemetery? Whatever. Oh, pay no heed, madam. Pay no heed. A private matter. This can't really be a coincidence, can it? That's what I ask all the time, every day. So, to the matter of your husband's disappearance. When did you realize he was missing?
Please try not to laugh. It was yesterday.
I'm sorry, yesterday. That really is recent. Laughably so.
The truth is, my husband does at times have occasion to spend the night away for his work. It's not all out of the ordinary for him not to return home at night, but this is different. For him not to make any contact for a whole day. That has certainly never happened before. Oh, my dear Dally, whatever could have happened?
My dear Mrs. Vigil, please calm yourself. Now then, have you contacted the police?
Why, naturally. But sadly, they refuse to listen to my pleas as my husband has only been missing for one day. I was asked to wait patiently at home.
In truth, Mrs. Vigil, I concur with the police. However, let us not be hasty. I see no reason why we should not engage my deductive powers to track her husband down anyway, as long as we are rewarded handsomely afterwards.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Holmes.
And furthermore, let me assure you, a chance to solve the greatest problem known to man for another month has no bearing on my decision. I seek only to put a sweet smile on another Londoner's face. That's really all there is to it.
You have my eternal gratitude. I shall pay any sum you care to mention.
You seek only to put the sweets rent in your landlady's purse. That's all there is to it.
Shut up, Mr. Naruhodo. You shut your dumb face. Thank you for everything you have shared with us, Mrs. Vigil. I believe I have all the information I need to sit on my ass and wait for him to come home to you. And then you pay me later.
Oh, thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Well, that was easy money. To begin my investigation.
Oh, please report to me soon with good news, sir.
Fear not, madam. In a day or two, I shall be contacting you with a heartening report, I'm quite sure. Assuming your husband's not dead.
So soon? Oh, how splendid, Mr. Holmes.
Good news should be delivered early, I always say. If you'd be so kind as to leave the photograph of your husband in my possession.
Okay. In order to aid with locating her missing husband, he appears to have no particularly distinctive facial features.
Thank you. Now, allow me to show you the door.
I can't thank you enough, Mr. Holmes. You've been simply marvelous.
I helped too. I picked the options.
You know, I think it every time, Holmesy. But how do you come up with such nonsense? Good news in a day or two. Are you sure?
I can't be sure, of course, but then I didn't swear on it. I merely gave the good woman some hope. I hope to be able to give her good news, one might say.
As long as it's not false hope.
After all, the rent must be paid by the end of tomorrow. If by that time I've successfully located Mr. Vigil, we shall be mutually relieved. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Don't you look at me like that. Yeah, don't look at me with those pleading eyes. I said the same thing I was thinking. Don't you fucking look at me like that. Well, my dear fellow, did you hear the details of the case? Yes, my hearing is surprisingly good, actually. Excellent. And what did you make of it?
Well, I was surprised to learn where her husband worked. At Barclay Prison, I mean.
Ah, so you noted that.
Of course, especially with the mention of Logate Cemetery.
Logate Cemetery is at
The rear.
a Barclay Prison. So it was renowned among its students at the university for being haunted by
The ghosts of condemned convicts.
Barclay Prison is where that notorious man was incarcerated.
The professor.
And now a warder from the prison has mysteriously disappeared, it would seem.
It's all very peculiar.
Indeed. But nothing you can't handle, I'm quite certain, Miss Naruhodo.
Sorry?
Run along to the prison and see what you can glean. Would you? It's the prison governor you want. No doubt that man is equally worthy. But are you going to go yourself? Surely you needn't ask. I can't possibly be seen out with this hair.
Oh my god.
But didn't you go to Lime Street with that hair? That was a quite different matter. So, I leave it in your capable hands. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm rather busy.
He had an excuse there, right? He could get away with saying why his hair was red. Of course you are. God dang it. Are you over in the corner looking at your thing? No, it's not even over here. Where'd you go? Damn it. All right, guys. Well, I think this is probably a good place to end things here for now. It's like we're just getting into the thick of it, and we don't even have a case yet, so I can't imagine we're anywhere near the end of this. But anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. If you did, please do a like and a favorite, and subscribe if you're not already. Become Piggy Penguin. I'm boy this LP, where the days are always sunny, and the vids are always funny. And as always, guys, till next time, stay classy.